This is The Healthy Healer, where true voice is your medicine. This is where we help doctors and other healers navigate through the challenging times by learning from the best minds in the healing industry. Laugh, cry, and be surprised. It's entertainment, education, and inspiration so you can continue to be the unique and amazing healer you were destined to be. Welcome to humanity. Welcome to The Healthy Healer with Dr. Fred.
Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Fred, and welcome to this week's short. Earlier this week, I had an amazing conversation with Sarah Rees Evans from France, and we talked a lot about what it means to heal from chronic conditions. One of the most well-known chronic conditions that is often thought to be essentially incurable, that just has to run its course, and that there would be manifestations and ramifications and continued symptomology like treatment resistance and residuals associated with it, is chronic fatigue syndrome, often associated with Epstein-Barr virus and fibromyalgia. Now, someone who really experienced this condition, as she describes it, it's as vivid as anything I've ever heard, was Sarah Rees Evans. And Sarah had this experience when she was a child, maybe around 8 years old. It's when it first started to express itself. And then she went through decades of struggling with the symptoms until she found some capacity to create modalities to assist herself in getting back on her feet, and has been now healed from chronic fatigue syndrome for the last 7 years entirely. So how did she do that? And what is that? These scars ran deep. This is somebody who was traumatized, sexually abused as a child, and then had multiple sort of spiritual breakdowns over time, as well as physical breakdowns that led to her frequent dissociation and an inability to handle the world as it was happening to her, really noticing herself getting out of her body and feeling the pain and being so chronically fatigued that she could barely get to the bathroom, and certainly getting back in the bathroom was even more difficult. Not being able to get up and get around during the day, having the whole day just eat her up, and having no capacity to have any sovereignty or agency over her life. So how did this happen, that she was able to find a pathway to her own healing? There's growth and development that takes place, and in spiritual ways, Sarah describes herself as a spiritual being. When after that famous question, "Who are you?" that was her first words, a spiritual being. So Sarah found it through somewhat of a higher power, a capacity to be mindful, to find peace, to find steadiness and groundedness. And in that groundedness, we hear so many times on this podcast, and it's been my experience as well, that when we become aligned, when we become quieted, when we become still, when we become one with nature and the people and things around us, when the illusion of separateness disappears, this is when oftentimes magical healing, what appears to be magical healing, shows up. This has been my experience as a clinician as well. And now I want to ask you, do you think it's possible to heal the scars of a severely traumatized past? This is a question that often gets answered yes inside of our conversations. But in order to do so, you have to step away from conventional medical thinking. You have to start looking at what are the ways that we can actually heal from the scars of a traumatized past, or the scars representing a traumatized past. Again, it's not the scars that are causing the damage. It's the past and our inability to properly metabolize those experiences in a way that have us walk through it and get on the other side, experiencing it as part of life's smorgasbord of opportunities, or smorgasbord of ways of being, of things to actually endure, or things to actually metabolize and to consume, and to witness and to be part of. And this is where we often have difficulty, and this is where scars seem to come up. This is where scars seem to raise, and this can happen emotionally and or physically. Can we actually heal? Sarah is a tremendous example of somebody who has found her way to healing. She has done so oftentimes, as I say in my book, The Creative Aid. Oftentimes, the way that people really find it is by beginning to help others. And the trump card in the Creative Aid, Healing Through Creativity and Self-Expression, is indeed help anybody do anything. So once one becomes a healer, that is a chip off their own block, that is someone who earned the stripes by experiencing life, healing themselves, and then bringing forth that magic to others, one is somehow able to find that harmonic resonance that allows one to connect with others and in the process confirm the healing of them, their own self. And have that healing then spread over to the people who are created in their space, or people who are allowed or who are invited to be in the space of healing, quietness, and mindfulness and steadiness that often comes once a chronic condition is seemingly rebalanced or healed. So I invite you to take a look at your life. Where in your life do you believe you have scars that have remained unhealed? Or where do you believe you have scars that have no chance of healing? I would like you to use Sarah as a template and realize that there is no scar that is on the other side of having the capacity to heal. Really, not even that scar that you have. And the possibility absolutely exists that you can heal and heal completely from conditions that otherwise might have written off as being constraining to the life that you deserve. So please take that on. And if you enjoy these conversations, please remember to share them, or you can comment, but by all means, please subscribe so that I can continue to get these conversations out to you. And by doing that, get them out to other listeners who would really benefit from hearing them. Thanks again for being a listener of The Healthy Healer. It's great to have you around. And of course, we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.